Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here, and look what we've got today. This is at Lus Hills Harley-Davidson, Southwest Iowa. This is a Freewheeler, Harley-Davidson Freewheeler. An absolutely beautiful Milwaukee 8 equipped, 114 cubic inch, 122 foot-pounds of torque beauty. And I have wanted to ride one of these for a very long time. And today's the day. I got lucky. They had this in the right color, just the color I wanted to take up for a spin and everything. But isn't that just a gorgeous machine? Just look at that. I usually want to start with the engine, but today I'm going to start with styling. It's got the bobber fenders on the back end, the low profile trunk. This one has an add-on backrest. I just have fallen in love with this front end. Just a beautiful, I think he said it was an FL front end or something like that, but this is a bespoke cowling. I think this is the only bike that actually has this thing on the front here, but isn't that just gorgeous? I'll find out if that's true, but isn't that just, oh, I love it. Gigantic. I think they're 49 millimeter tubes on the front. They're covered, so you don't have to worry about that. It's got a steering dampener. Just look at that. Just absolutely fabulous. But look at the, it's got reverse, 6-speed gearbox. Okay, I'm getting carried away here. But, it's just an absolute thing of beauty. Look at those rims. Okay, so the engine is a Milwaukee 8, and that's their big, this one's 114 cubic inches, which is about 1,868 cubic centimeters. It's got a 4-valve head, so 8 valves total. The heads are oil cooled on this model. There's an oil cooler down there to help with cooling. I did not find out if it has a cylinder shutoff option, but a very interesting motor. It's actually one of my favorite, actually it is my favorite Harley motor. I love the old twin cam, and this is the next step above that. They've really done something good with this one. I've driven a couple of these now, and every time I ride it, I just fall in love with it. They've got torque, it seems, just right from idle. Everything's full power right there, right when you turn the crank, turn the gas. Just an absolutely beautiful engine. It's air cooled with oil cooled heads, like I said. Cam on this end, push rod operated overhead valve. So the cam is down here, the valves are up here. The push rod's up, just like the traditional Harley engine. As you can see, it says 6-speed gearbox. What little I've driven this particular bike, the gearbox is very smooth. I love that rear end. Look at the exhaust pipes. Just gorgeous. Okay, let's go up here to the dash. So it looks like a very simple dash, doesn't it? Speedometer, got the lights, turn signal indicators, oil light, everything you could need. ABS light, traction control, all that neat stuff. But down here, there's a tachometer in here, the trip meters, there's all kinds of things like that built in here, and you control it with a switch up here. Fuel gauge is right here. I don't think there's a fuel gauge digitally, but there is one right there. You fill on this side, it has a 6-gallon tank. Coming back up here to the, let's stick up here. Just look at all that chrome. Whoa! Very minimalistic control, or very minimalistic for a Harley-Davidson. They do make windshields for this. You can get a Batwing fairing for these. It's just a very good design. Okay, on this side, first we've got these beautiful Harley clutch levers. It's some of the best in the industry as far as I'm concerned. They got great feel. Aftermarket mirrors. Okay, here's the how you control the LED for the trip meters and things like that. Traction control button, horn, high-low, pass the flash, the blinker, the Harley blinker. Harley has a blinker on each side, right blinker, left blinker. Cruise control is down here. This does have cruise control. Over here we got the hazard lights, start, reverse, kill switch, blinker I already talked about, and I think these are blanks down here. Just a gorgeous thing. Oh, and by the way, steering lock. Just a gorgeous thing. Big old floorboards, and I love that. To set the brake, I forgot to do that. You just step on it like that to unset it. There you go. Just a beautiful thing. These big old floorboards for the rider, passenger, but look at these for the rider. Isn't that just neat? And getting on and off of this bike, that was one thing I worried about. How do you get on and off a big old trike like this? Well, it's got a very low seat height. I think the seat height is 27 or so inches. And look at the comfort on that seat. I don't know if this is a stock seat or not. It says Harley-Davidson on it, but it's a beautiful thing. Okay, seat is 663 millimeters, 26 inches tall. Isn't that something? Another thing about this is the wheelbase. This has got a 65, just over 65 inch wheelbase at 1670 millimeters. And I've had motorcycles with a longer wheelbase than that. You know, regular two-wheel motorcycles. So that's not, you know, short, but it's not long either. It's actually very, I think it's a good number. We'll take it for a ride and I'll let you know more about that. Ground clearance is about 5 inches, just under 5 inches, 125 millimeters or so. So here's a big number that you all want to hear. What's the weight of this thing? The weight on this is 1,118 pounds stock. That's about 507 kilograms. It is a heavy motorcycle, but you know, it's got these two wheels on the back. You don't have to hold it up. And like I said, we're going to take it for a drive. I'll drive it a couple miles down the road, 8 or 10 miles, and we'll see how that feels handling. By the way, it's got dual disc. These are floating disc on the front. I could not find a number for the diameter of the disc. I do know they're dual pistons on each side, so dual disc with dual pistons on the front, and we can't see the ones on the back, but there are. And I did manage to get a picture of this motorcycle without all the bodywork on it, and I'll post that so you guys can see what that looks like. I'll put that on here somewhere. The brakes are also ABS, by the way. And the bike has this incredible traction control system, and we were talking about that. So it has regular traction control that works with the brakes, but it also has a, I think it said it was a 6-axis sensor, and it senses if the bike is going too fast for the amount of turning or things like that, and it'll actually control the brakes, and it'll actually control the power of the bike to a degree to help alleviate any chance of an accident. The new ones come in 3 colors. They have, of course, the vivid black, which Harley always seems to have, a very beautiful blue, which they did have a blue one inside, but I asked for this one because I like this color. They also have a new one that's red and vivid black, so I've only seen pictures of that one, but it's gorgeous. Okay, so let's jump back down here. You know, the big old front wheel, the gigantic forks, the beautiful front end. Look at these wonderful integrated blinkers. Down here we've got the oil cooler, electronics thing, the frame, big heavy frame, brakes. By the way, the front and rear brakes are linked, which is a good thing. The engine, you know, here's the old intake. Lots of chrome, the distinctive M8 engine heads. Just an absolutely gorgeous thing. You know, jumping up, we've got the giant 2-filler tanks. You only fill on one side, but it's 2 fillers. Well, massive seat. You've got grips on the back for the passenger, and on this bike we have the rider backrest. They're very good to have. Here's how the trunk works. Kind of a neat thing. Lots of room in there. And I think you can also get a tour pack for this if you want it. But look at this mechanism. Just an absolutely wonderful thing. Nice quick shut there. Isn't that cool? Alright guys, I'm Fuzzy Biker. I'm in Loess Hills, Harley-Davidson, Southwest Iowa, and I'm going to take that Harley-Davidson Freewheeler out for a ride. Wahoo! Let me give the exhaust a spin for you. That's a dead stock exhaust. To release the foot brake, just step on it. Up it is. And gear, neutral, and let's go see what we got. Wahoo! There's Loess Hills Harley-Davidson. If you all are interested in a motorcycle like this or a used motorcycle, Harley-Davidson, give those guys a call. An incredibly nice shop. Of all the Harley shops in the area, that's the one that's my favorite. I like the layout of the shop itself, and I also like the location. Absolutely beautiful Loess Hills area. Very nice. Anyway, okay, so back to the bike. Lots of power. Certainly lots of power. A very interesting feel. It does not ride like a normal motorcycle. You ride more flat. I'm very I'm new to this, so we're learning together. As far as the smoothness goes, it's incredibly smooth and very comfortable. I think the learning curve would be pretty short on something like this. It certainly has good pickup and a great ride, really. I like the ride a lot. The bike feels like it has absolutely plenty of power. That 122 foot-pounds of torque really goes a long way. And I absolutely love this front end. Look at this beauty right here. I mean, that is just gorgeous. All that chrome. Wow. We're at 65, that's road speed. and I am very comfortable. This seat is just humongous and absolutely wonderful so far. I'd love to take it on a 100-mile ride and see how that does. The handlebars are reaching up to me. I'm not bent down. I'm upright seating position. I've got my feet forward just like I like them. I like cruiser style motorcycles, and I like big running boards. See how she downshifts there? Very nice, very nice. That's one thing I think the M8, they did something different. Harley did something different with the M8 over the twin cam, because it seems the twin cam was a little more mechanical in the shifter department compared to the M8s that I've ridden. So this is kind of a bumpy 2-lane road. Let's see how that works for us. The bike has an incredible amount of power, by the way. That is one thing it is not lacking, is power. I can't think of anything that it's lacking. I love it. I love it. The first Harley-Davidson I ever remember sitting on was a Servicart. I was about 4 or 5 years old. My dad had gone to the Bureau of Land Management, talked to the people there, and they had a couple of these in the back, and a couple of those in the back. And so I went back there and played on them, and every time we would go back there, that's right where I'd go, right back to where those Harleys were. And I never heard those running, but I did sit on them a lot and, you know, make the noises, vroom, vroom, vroom. I was 4 years old. I'm in, I'm retired now, and those bikes were quite old back then. And what I guess I'm saying is Harley has a long tradition of building trikes. You know, probably almost as long as there's been Harley. So they are not a new competitor in this game. This is something they know very well. And this trike leads me to believe that the handling here, I mean, as I get used to this motorcycle, it's just phenomenal. Shifting and downshifting, upshifting, things like that are all normal. You don't have to put your feet down at the stop. The bike holds itself up. That just blows me away. I want to see what this does here in the turn. Well, it does very well. You know what, let's just go back the way we came. I don't really care to get on the 4-lane unless I have to, until I have to. Les Hills is full of roads just like this one in front of us. And I think they're some of the funnest roads in Iowa to run, at least in western Iowa, especially in western Iowa. And this motorcycle seems to do very well on them. Wow, this thing is a hoot. The brakes, let's try those out. No one behind us. The brakes are good. The brakes are very good, by the way. You know, we've been doing this driving and I haven't even had to give them a second thought. They've worked so well. I like this thing. I like this thing a lot. They do make a larger one, the Tri-Glide I think they call it, and we'll take one of those for a spin sometime. But this is the one I was really attracted to. I like the style of this motorcycle. I love the they call it a bobber look. I like the fenders and the rear end, and I like the way it looks like a, this is going to sound funny, I like the way it looks like a small motorcycle. Look at that, right up to road speed. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Wahoo! Hey, a red light. The transmissions on these M8s are an interesting thing. I think they're designed to be kind of clunky. I don't know if you can hear me shifting. The clutches are, but they're very positive shifting, by the way. But the clutch on here, it's a bit heavy, but not heavy. Just, you feel it. You know it's there. It's got an excellent friction zone. The transmission goes in and out of gear very well. Not a problem at all. I do like that. I would like to spend 100 miles on this. I'd like to spend a day or two on this because I think there's a lot to learn. I will say that it's very easy to ride. It's just a wonderful thing. If you're interested in something like this, get yourself down to Les Hills Harley-Davidson, ask for Jimmy. Here we are right here. Right off the Interstate 29, exit 35. Tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. They've got new, they've got used. What do I think of this bike? Well, I love it. This is one I would love to, I'd love to take one of these on a very long ride. Very impressed with it. Life is short. Get yourselves out there and ride. Ride to Les Hills Harley-Davidson. Wahoo!